Jamspace TV. Thank you for joining us on our very first broadcast. We are a YouTube channel dedicated to bringing you NBA news, information, predictions, and opinions on the season. A new video will be posted every week, recapping the week's action and giving you a look at what's to come for the rest of the season. I'm your host, Kevin Nutley, and with me as always is my good friend and co-host, Andrew Barrett.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. I'm excited to be here and talk about some basketball.
Alright, well let's get to it then. As many of you know, all the NBA's greatest stars took to New York City this weekend for the NBA All-Star Weekend. And it was a pretty fun weekend to watch. And the weekend was just capped off last Sunday night with the NBA All-Star Game. And what a game this was to watch, Andrew.
Yeah, it was a great game, but little in the way of defense, Kevin. But that's what you come to expect in an exhibition game.
Yeah, I'd say that's an understatement. There was no defense. The final score was 163 to 158, a record for total points in an All-Star game. It was ridiculous out there as they put up straight video game numbers, and with the West taking home the victory by 5.
Yeah, like I said, it was an exhibition game. Players weren't out there trying their hardest. They were having fun and putting on a good performance to the fans. There were 133 triple shots a night. Players were just nailing threes. In fact, there were more three-point shot than two-point shot.
Yeah, that's right, Andrew. Especially Hawks' own Kyle Korver, who hit 7 three-pointers on 12 attempts for a total of 21 points. Truly a great performance from him. And he led all the 4 Hawks selected to play in the game in scoring. The Hawks were able to play on the floor together on 2 different occasions in the game. And you gotta love head coach for the Hawks, Coach Budenholzer, for allowing that to happen, being the head coach of the East. Now overall, the 4 Hawks combined for 48 points, 30% of the East team's total, which is pretty spectacular if you ask me. And if the Hawks didn't seem like they fit in too well with the game, that's because the Hawks are a defense-first type basketball team that leads to fast break offense. With a game with little to no defense, they still were able to put up some pretty good numbers on offense in the close loss to the West.
Yeah, the Hawks did seem a little off-place last night, but not Kyle Korver with his 7 three-pointers and 21 points. Other high scorers of the night include LeBron James with 30 points, James Harden with 29, John Wall with 19, and LaMarcus Aldridge with 18 points on an impressive 4-for-4 three-point shooting behind the arc. You really have to give props, though, to Russell Westbrook for bringing home the Kia All-Star Player of the Game honors with a staggering 41 points on the game, coming just 1 point shy of breaking legend Will Chamberlain's all-time record with 42 points. Not only did he do that, but he did it playing 11 less minutes than Will Chamberlain did. It just seems like Westbrook couldn't miss behind the three, and some of his dunks were just jaw-dropping, bringing home the play of the game honors. He may not have broken the all-time game record, but he did bring home the most points in a half of the All-Star game with 27 points.
Yeah, Westbrook was on fire Sunday night, really putting on a show for all of us. He did miss a few open opportunities for dunks early on in the game that could have given him the record, but I'm sure he's okay with MVP honors.
Westbrook also competed in the Degree Shooting Stars competition, but fell in the final round to Team Bosch, who brought home their 3rd straight victory, competing with Dominique Wilkins and Swin Cash.
Yeah, that's always a fun competition to watch, but I'm more of a fan of the 3 that followed that on Friday night. I'm talking about the Taco Bell Skills Challenge, the Foot Locker 3-point contest, and the Sprite Slam Dunk contest. These are some of the most exciting events to watch in basketball and really give the league's young talent a chance to show off their amazing skills. In the Taco Bell Skills Challenge, it was Patrick Beverley from the Houston Rockets taking home the victory, beating each of his opponents in the last 2 rounds at the last second. He defeated Jeff Teague in the semifinal and Brandon Knight from the Milwaukee Bucks in the final round.
Next up was the Foot Locker 3-point competition, which assembled some of the best shooters to ever come together at this event. The competitors included Kyle Korver, the Splash Brothers, both Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, J.J. Redick, the very underrated Wesley Matthews, and the defending champion, Marco Bellinelli. At the end of the first round, 3 remained: the Splash Brothers, Steph and Klay, and Kyrie. However, in the second round, it was Steph Curry time. He shot for an amazing 27 points, beating out Klay and Kyrie by more than 10 points each. His shot was so smooth, it seemed that he wasn't going to miss, and he took on the honors of the champion.
Yeah, it was a really fun event to watch, and Steph Curry was just on fire. I was a little disappointed that Kyle Korver couldn't make it to the final with only 18 in the first round, but that's still a respectable number. He just couldn't compete with the over 20 from Steph, Kyrie, and Klay. But one more thing about those 3-point contests, they made a change this year. They allowed each contestant to have an entire rack of money balls instead of just having one money ball at the end of each rack. And they could place it at whichever spot on the court they wanted. Andrew, what do you think about this change?
Well, I'm always excited to see what Adam Silver has to mix things up in the NBA since he's taking charge. I do like how it rewards players for having their particular hotspots, but I just come to question whether or not it's rewarding them for lack of consistency, as it has in the past. But it seemed to work out this year, and I'd like to see what he has to offer in the future.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it really allowed the players to add some more strategy to the game instead of just relying on shooting alone, kind of pick where they wanted, if they wanted to start out hot with the money balls or try to end when they were on a good shooting streak. So I think it's fun to watch, the new change. One change I did not like from Sunday night was the ability of the players on the court to be able to hear the TNT announcers while they were commentating on the events. Now, I can't think of anything more distracting as a player than to hear announcer Kenny Smith try to yell encouragements at me or try to coach me when I try to dunk a basketball or shoot a three-pointer. You aren't their coach. You aren't their mentor. Stop letting your desire to get heard and your ego get in the way of the players' performances.
Yeah, I feel like anytime there's a distraction, keeping the players from doing their job, it needs to be removed. This is a miss for the NBA and should be fixed by next year.
Now, the last event Sunday night was a Sprite Slam Dunk Contest, one of the fan favorites. But to me, the Slam Dunk Contest has kind of fallen by the wayside in recent years. From cheap gimmicks, unknown players, and even trying to have the fans decide on the winner in recent years, the Slam Dunk Contest has had a lot of attempts to try to spice it up that have really just fallen flat. So this year, they got back to basics. They changed the format, brought back the legendary panel of judges, including Dr. Julius Erving, of course. And I saw some of the best dunks I've seen ever, not let alone in recent years. This was brought on by young talent like Victor Oladipo and especially Zach LaVine. Now these guys really put on a show and were the two competitors to move on from the first round to the second round. LaVine started off strong, donning a Toon Squad jersey coming out to the Space Jam theme song and throwing back a sick alley-oop to himself where he went between the legs and finished on the opposite side of the rim. It was one of the most spectacular dunks I've seen in a while, and he earned a perfect 50 for the dunk. And not to be outdone, Victor Oladipo came back at him with a 540, a never before done in the dunk contest. It was really great to watch. But it was the second dunk from Zach LaVine that really impressed me. He starts at the top of the key and then throws up a lob to himself, catches it with his left hand, goes behind the back while still rising, and throws it down with his right. It was the most incredible dunk I've ever seen in my life. The behind the back dunk is one of the hardest to accomplish, and he made it look effortless, like taking candy from a baby. Now, after those two dunks, LaVine was able to secure a perfect 100 for the first round, and in the second round, he finished with two between the legs finishes off alley-oops for a 94, giving 194 and a possible 200. Really a spectacular showing by LaVine. Now, hopefully he's inspired some new talent and other great NBA stars to join next year. Andrew, who would you like to see most in the dunk contest next year?
Kevin, I'd like to see LeBron James. He's been in the league for long enough, and he's never done it. I know he expressed remorse about not participating this year. He's the best player in the league, and like all the other greats, MJ, Dr. J, it's his turn to participate.
I definitely agree. I want to see it happen as well. Let's hope 2016 will be the year. If so, watch out, Toronto. Air Canada ain't ready for that. Well, overall, it was a really fun weekend to watch. We enjoyed all the contests and even the All-Star game. And we're looking forward to the next one next year in Toronto in 2016.
Thank you for tuning in. Please come back at 7 on Thursday for some predictions, power rankings, and overall opinions on the second half of the season.
Until then, be sure to follow us on Twitter at JamSpaceTV, like our Facebook page, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Kevin Nutley.
And I'm Andrew Barrett, and we'll see you next time on JamSpace TV.